put in a prompt that was nothing like that, like zero. It was like it had to do with heterochromia and the iris of the center of the thing, and like, and it literally just spit that out. And I was like, well, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm just gonna put that everywhere. So yeah, I ended up going through the process of AI doing that stuff.
That's awesome. You should be able to have access now. So you used which thing to animate it?
Ended up using Luma AI.
Luma.
Yeah. Back when they first came out, now it's like it takes 6 hours for a free video to come out. And I was able to do it like, yeah, a few minutes. Now it's like, come on, guys, literally gonna make me pay for this? Like, I at least get a couple versions within an hour or so.
Yeah. Welcome back. We have Cecilia that just joined us.
Nice.
Hey.
Hi, Cecilia. Welcome.
Cecilia.
Hi, Stella. Thank you.
Hello. Welcome, Cecilia.
All right.
Hi.
Everybody's back and ready to do the big scary.
Twice.
The big scary is happening now.
The big scary?
Can you explain it again?
Yeah. So from the survey, right, we had kind of milestones that might show what success looks like if we're doing what we want to do. And so we spent last session or the session before plotting them on kind of what we feel is maybe more important or less important, and kind of what can happen sooner versus what can happen later in all three of these categories: near term 1 to 3 months, short term 3 to 6, or long term 6 months to a year. We have some other things that got pulled out that we didn't think were maybe appropriate or made sense. So now we have these sticky notes that are associated to like how we meet those milestones. And essentially what we want to do collectively is plot them on this grid. So what's going to take low effort and high impact is the best scenario. So something that's very easy for us to do that will create high impact towards either milestones or the mission statement that we just created. Does that make sense?
Question. Since I remember we didn't use all of the ones that you had, should we take the ones out that we know we didn't use?
You mean for the milestone ones?
Yeah,
these up here?
It's the same stuff, isn't it?
Maybe. Although this roadmap thing is kind of what we're doing, but
yeah, I know. But this is like it's basically the overarching one, right?
Yeah. As well, I don't think we're doing the formalized entity, like the legal structure. And hackathon is a question mark on something, right? So I guess we could take those out, but I don't know. Let's see. I think it doesn't matter. I think they can still be plotted.
Okay. Good.
And just go from there. And then so just so you're aware, the next step, which I probably shouldn't tell you now, but would be to basically say the professions that are represented within the DAO that can actually execute on these things. But we might not get there.
I would argue that the roadmap is also an action item in the sense that once we do this exercise and build this out, it still needs to be communicated and shared in some way to, you know, the general public and the DAO itself.
Yeah, that
the
makes
rest
sense.
of the DAO community. So
I put it here. I was sneaky again. I grabbed it from under Alex's mouse. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's on there. You're right.
Yeah. Some of these were pretty lengthy. So if you're grabbing one and putting it somewhere and you feel like it can be separated into 2 sticky notes or pared down, feel free to do so. But I would say let's take the next, I don't know, 10 minutes or so to plot these. And if you disagree, move it, you know.
I don't know how I feel about election for leads.
Is this another one of your tension moments, Alex? Creating tension?
Yeah, 100%. I almost decided I wasn't going to do stuff, but I'm going to do stuff. I'm going to say that this is... Oh. We need to make all of these in front. Give me 1 second. Bring to front. Okay.
Just realizing this whole structure is it's like we are dragging the post-its underneath right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
When you say underneath, what do you mean?
I'm sorry.
What happened?
I will put them back. I'm sorry. Don't
Wait a
worry.
minute. So are we just putting them in more important, less important?
No. Sorry, you're moving them to the bottom grid. The ones that are already within the sort of timeline thing, they stay there. So that's sort of section of like how to do everything that's underneath that, the 3 boxes. You're moving down to the high impact or the impact effort matrix.
Can I ask why create an entity and write and sign contracts is not more important to everybody else? Because that is like one of the most important things on my list. And I know it is for Yonks too, but if it's just Yonks and I and nobody else cares, then you know what I mean? Like I'm willing to give that up.
We can certainly talk about that.
It's because it depends. I think right now it depends very much on the proposal that Unlock Labs will make about the legal structure. Because if the foundation can be used by us to act as an entity, essentially, to the outside world, that will be absolutely sufficient to have. And then the only thing that I think individuals from America would need either way is a legal wrapper around yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to point out a flaw in that logic.
Can we pause this?
We'll talk about it later, and we'll just like set it to the side so we can get through the rest of them.
Will you put it in the messages, and I can pin it to make sure we do that? I just know how important it is for you guys to get started on some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said we should be shortening the lengthy ones?
If you feel like you can shorten it or make it more succinct, go ahead. Or if you need to split it into multiple, that's fine too.
Are they supposed to be in any order in the square?
No, I mean, it's a matrix, so generally like the middle point 0, if you want to think of it like that, but it becomes so many that it's hard to make that like an exact feeling.
I'll let that be for Stella to do then.
Wait, what?
Organizing within the square.
No. I gave up a long time ago with you guys. The mess exists just all over the place.
So I will let somebody else decide on this SLAs one, not me.
Wait, just one, create SLAs, sign contractual determine compensation agreements. I don't even know what SLA stands for. I think that's anyway a big problem we have in this DAO, that Americans always think we know their abbreviations of shit. Like normal people don't know that. Okay, so what's an SLA?
A service level agreement. And the reason that they're important is that there are several US laws in place that require certain types of providers of certain information or data to have service level agreements with their technology providers. And I think that the European actually law that governs a lot of data and information also includes that.
Like who
So I
would
think
know? Like who other than an American would know what SLA as a short form stands for? You know. So if we're an inclusive global community, I think also when we communicate, we need to start like acting as that. Like, you know, I'm not like dumping German abbreviations in the chat and be like, oh, you don't know? Like, how can you not know? Right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it also covers Europe, but at the same time, like if you haven't been on the business end in technology, infrastructure, then this is something that you would probably not know.
Yeah. I only know I worked with a company that did a bunch of stuff with that.
Yeah.
Like it took me a good 3 months to understand the concept of change orders.
Yeah, but like I agree with Stella in the mean that it doesn't. It would be better if we use the SLA signature, but also just a clarification of what that's mean, so people can like say what is that, and maybe Google it and things like that. So it's more clear for them, and also it's like yes, we are implementing this because of regulations, but it means this, you know.
Yeah. Like at least when we start, I mean, here it's different, right? But when we start communicating to the outside world, I think we should do these things, because otherwise it becomes very hard to take our mission statement very serious, right? Because in there we're clearly saying we're a global community. If we're global, then we need to care for these things, I think.
Yeah, because also in Bolivia, obviously we have something like that, but it doesn't have that name. And obviously the companies here use it, but we are not going to use that name.
And also it's named different, right? So the same thing as Americans have an LLC. In Peru, it's called an SAC. In Germany, it's called a GmbH, right? So it has a ton of different abbreviations. They differ in like different countries. So I think, we need to. Thank you, Cecilia.
Yeah, global is good.
Okay, so we have a lot of high impact, high effort shit, huh? It's
Yeah,
not looking so good for us, I think. Stop dragging it over there, Alex. Stop what you're doing. I know this would be scary. I told you this is the scary square. I'm going to give it this time.
And that's only the 3 to 6 months.
Okay, so I guess the most important part here is just to make sure that we agree. I think just because of time, everything that's in low impact, high effort is stuff that we probably won't do. So if we can all look at those and see if we agree with that. Because this is basically like the no-go zone.
Oh, the low impact, high effort ones?
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to do that? High effort.
Use Charmverse for community proposals or grant proposals, making it easier and centrally located. I don't know that that's high effort, is it?
I didn't think that was high effort.
And also, can I just say the Charmverse stuff? I've already done it. So fuck you guys, okay? Definitely
Yeah.
high
I know
impact.
that.
It's not low effort. What are you talking about? It's not done.
How
What does
about
this
It's
mean?
high effort.
the market the prize pool and dev alpha group chats or discords?
What does that mean?
I think this was in relation to
It's like
hackathons,
bounties or
actually.
grants? Is it like in that
I think
direction?
I think it's all of those. I think it was in relation to hackathons and grants and bounties.
That doesn't seem like that's high effort.
No, it doesn't seem
I
like
moved
high
it here because I wasn't sure, because do we have a prize pool? Yeah, that's the real reason I put that there. But I would say the marketing of it is maybe low effort, maybe, but I don't like, it would be high effort for me, but for Angela or somebody who is like in those alpha groups, maybe not. So if you feel like it should go somewhere else, please go ahead and move it.
Yeah, I mean, I would call that low effort, high impact.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I got rid of it. I was like, what is this? I put it back. I put it back though. Sorry, Angela.
Yeah.
So find sponsors to generate a large prize pool to attract devs. I don't know that it's low impact, but it might be. That's why I've kind of put it towards
It's
the center.
definitely high effort. It
Like,
takes a
this is definitely
lot
high
of
effort.
communication and sometimes multiple communication with multiple people in other organizations. It takes having done that myself, it takes a lot. Just
But would you say that it's a high impact effort?
yeah, it's high impact, high effort.
Okay.
But can I
I'll
ask you
just move it
something
across.
about this, Angela?
Yeah.
Like if it's like high impact, it's also something that's sustainable, right? And
Yeah.
until now I have had a bit of a problem to see that, like how some of the things that we might attract through this would turn into an impact that, you know, proceeds like a continuous timeline of sorts, and it's not just like now we have something new, right? So for example, the work that 0x Nestor is doing, right? He's working on this bounty with the Farcaster channel and stuff, and I think it's cool, it's playful, it's cute, right? But for example, I wouldn't say this is something that I feel will have high or long-lasting impact. I might be absolutely wrong about it, that is, right? So but you know developers much more than I do and what they've been doing in the past. So I'm wondering if there's a way to phrase this differently instead of like large prize pool. Maybe it's not about a large prize pool.
It's not really. It's more about when you find those sponsors, typically those are people or other groups and organizations within Web3. And it's about visibility within those groups that makes it high impact.
Okay.
Because effectively they want to show and market heavily their sponsorship of anything, right? If they're going to spend money on it, then they're going to also use their reach and actually market that. So it's the marketing generated around it that is actually something that makes it high impact, because that it creates visibility in a way that is much more sustainable, because it's not our effort at that point. It's the effort of those sponsors. It takes a lot of effort. It's the upfront effort for us, but also from a flywheel standpoint, once you've develop those relationships, then they're actually much more easier to maintain than they are
To acquire.
right. And this is something that we're going to have to work really closely with labs on, because effectively we spent years at labs, right, like building this relationships with other Web3 entities. And what we've already seen happen is like confusion around contacts from the DAO and how that's different from when they get contacted from BD at labs, or people coming to me because people already recognize that I was on the labs team, and therefore are much more likely to respond to me as opposed to other people. And we need to transfer that, right? That can't always be that way. So we'll have to work closely with labs on it. That's also what makes it high effort. So the initial setting up of relationships, leveraging the relationships that labs has already created, and figuring out a way to transfer that goodwill to the DAO itself is something that's going to be high effort. But I also believe that it's really high impact, because the reality is Unlock Protocol only still exists today because of those relationships, because of how close all of the labs team and other inside the DAO have been with the Ethereum Foundation, other major L2 blockchains, Julian being on the committee of the graph, lots of things like that. And those ties are actually what is important in that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, partnerships. It's more about partnerships than the actual sponsorship itself. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. Why are you dragging this in again? Bye.
Well, because no, don't delete things. we don't delete stuff unless it's literally like not a thing. But I think that this is a thing as well, right? If we want to do grants and stuff, I think that there may be two separate things potentially.
Build partner and grant giver network. Isn't that the put to build grants?
Yeah, but this is more around like a singular event type thing, I think.
Okay.
But to that point, though,
Yeah, right.
do you think it's a 0 to 3 month thing? I think it's longer than that, personally.
Yeah, it probably is, but you can never start early enough. So the question is if it's
the 0 to 3 month thing is like thinking through the infrastructure of how we manage those partnerships.
Yeah, actually, Alex, I have a structural question.
Yeah.
Not to question your entire system, but no, I'm just wondering, why don't we take the action items from the timeline and sort those specifically, because on those we have already agreed that they're important and we want to do them. Why is this like, because I didn't read, so at first I thought it was the same stuff, but it's kind of very different stuff. So we're sorting kind of again. Wouldn't that like?
Yeah, we are sorting it again. So essentially what happens is we take these things for the high impact, low effort, and we match them to these milestone items. Right?
Okay,
and so that way we can have a jump start on like how we achieve those things. And then we can say like what's missing, right? So like budget planning, I don't think has anything in this. So then potentially we could say, we know that's really important, but what sort of like action items don't exist currently for budget planning?
Also really good news. I reviewed the document that David was working on this morning and refined it a little bit. Yes, and it's coming really well together.
Yay!
So that's really good news. He's been working very focused, I think, yesterday and maybe this morning on it. So it's coming together. And
Awesome.
also the Angela and Alex might remember this, the Excel sheet that I made like I feel like a year ago, but it was just a few months. Anyway, he's filling that too and getting like all of the sources in there. So he's even working on a small script. Look at him leveling up.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, in-person events and on-site recording, I have no idea where that fits.
It has potential to be everything.
I know, that's why.
The event, it can be high effort and high impact. Depending on the event, it can be bullshit, right?
So it belongs at 0. Perfect.
Yeah.
What about
I wouldn't say it belongs to 0 because organizing an event is a very high effort. for a
But this isn't
team.
necessarily. Sorry, go ahead.
So I am understanding on these in-person events is that or nor we are organizing it, or we are partnering with somebody that is organizing the event.
I think it's
So
more us being there, or maybe that's a thing for
Yeah.
two separate versions, two separate.
Yeah, we
Like-
should split it out between
mm,
presence at existing events
mhm,
or organizing our own events, which are two
Mhm.
very separate levels of
separate things.
effort.
Mhm.
I have to say, I enjoy this received buy-in from Unlock Labs. I don't know who put it at high impact and low effort, but I really like it. It's like,
I
hey
put it at
guys,
high impact and low effort. Super easy.
can you give us some money? Bye, thank you. I love it.
Oh, buy-in doesn't always mean money, right? I don't
No,
know
but
if
that was the
that's
first thing that came to my mind. I was like,
okay. Buy-in sometimes just means like they're agreeance and willing to do a thing.
I mean, yeah, you're right. No, sorry, I'm having fun.
No, I appreciate it. I don't know what phrases you don't know. That's what that is really.
There will be always one, I tell you that. What do you want?
Hey Angela, where does create tokenomics and token listings go? Because I have no idea.
I'm sorry, I will be back in a sec.
Okay.
What's happening?
High impact, high effort.
Yeah, come.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's happening? I have no
Because
idea.
if they're not well thought through, they can collapse the entire community. So it's really high effort to do it right.
Create dedicated channel on Discord for feedback on products. So this is in relation to like us building things or things Labs has built.
Okay. We already have a Discord channel for that, I think.
I think so too, but I don't know that that needs to have a dedicated channel. But we already sort of do that when we create like the initiatives or the threads.
Well, we've got website oddities. That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
That was meant for that. Like, people don't really use it much, though, honestly. But that's what it was meant for, like feedback for
I think
the
also
web.
the creators,
Yeah,
devs, and the other channel is part
I
of that.
think, yeah, I think that this is more related, like maybe people is now using the logs and either membership tickets or whatever of the product, but are experiencing things that can be improved on the product itself, and not just oddities because it's lagging the website, or maybe it's something on their end. It's
I think
something
maybe we
on
just
the
need to.
UX that could be improved, and that feedback is really important for labs to make it a reality.
So right now we gather that feedback via, issues in GitHub.
Yeah, but not many people use GitHub. I
That's
mean,
true,
I
and
am
that's
not a
what I was.
developer.
I
I am
took a
not a
deep breath
developer.
and
I
go,
use GitHub just only for, because of some community just needs to get something done on GitHub. But for the daily basis, I really struggled using GitHub. I am
so
struggling still.
as a person who's tried to actually get her family to use GitHub for issues, I wouldn't
Great.
advocate trying to get normies to use GitHub. So
There's
I've
something here.
abandoned the idea that that's even possible at this point. There's software for it. I don't know that Charmverse would work well, unfortunately. So you're also talking about fairly expensive software, the kind that actually does what you want it to do, which is like you create issues, you track those issues. You have to have customer service to track those issues and to determine whether they need to go get pushed to GitHub or can be resolved through customer service. Of course, having official support, which is what we're actually talking about, because this is the only way it actually works. Having official support is a very high impact thing. And in fact, it's something that's missing a lot in the Web3 community. And having come from like a startup who like was customer service first. In fact, we had more customer service at the startup that was successful that I did that sold. We had more customer service reps than we did engineers. And quite honestly, I mean, that was like a lot of our customers said that was the reason they continued to use the software was because there was a human that they could contact and have a connection with on the other end, right? So here's the thing though, like Discord is just like GitHub. There's people who don't like to use Discord. And if we want to continue to like increase our reach, I don't think that doing it through Discord is the right way. Doing it the way that normal tech companies do by having a form on their website that's like, you know, whatever I think is, yeah, go ahead, Stella. Is the way, but
either the form on the website or I think we could even structure so Chambers has something that I haven't activated yet, which is a forum. So having, for example, issues being reported in that forum, be it like issues in the sense of, you know, something that's broken and it's not working, versus, you know, like new ideas like what, you know, Alex and you came up with. Why not? Like, what's the problem with Charmverse? It's user-friendly.
Yeah, people don't just like
because it doesn't connect with the other tools that the engineers use. So literally you're going to have a human who's going to have to manually copy and paste all of the background information that goes with that forum thread. And if you, the nightmare of the idea of that, it's a lot of manual human work you're talking about.
I think that we need to define what feedback means here, because Angela, it sounds like you're talking about development feedback and things that need a sort of engineer developer to fix, versus something like me where I want like UX feedback to help do design work, which is something that fits better in a Charmverse or some other sort of human manual thing.
Either way, I mean, either way, there's no way to take actions from a forum, right? So, however, whether it's in GitHub or somewhere else, right, Alex? Because like, even if it's not in GitHub, if it requires an action item by another human, there's no way to do that in a forum. To go from
dedicate
here's the history of the conversation we had about it, and here's the actions tied to that. Do you see what I'm saying? Unless I'm missing something about the way that Charmverse works.
Can we?
You are, I
but
believe.
then, quick question: can we just quotation marks? Can we just have a website form, like you said, that automatically opens an issue on the GitHub?
Yes, that's an easy implementation.
Yeah.
Actually.
Because then that would solve both
good.
issues, the one from the engineer's perspective and the one from, and then Dale came around and said like, wait guys.
No, it doesn't solve the issue though.
Let's go.
Yeah, but I don't really think that we just want issues going straight to GitHub for every single thing, because you know some things aren't really issues, right? There needs to be a way to like mitigate that and decide, okay, which ones should go up as issues.
So I've had this conversation and we're solutioning, which is steps beyond what we're supposed to be doing right now. And I think it's important to maintain this conversation for the future, but we will never get through this activity.
Can we just change the way that that's worded to say develop a support and feedback mechanism?
Yeah, absolutely. So
and then put it on high impact, high effort, because that
I've already
gone through really well.
I've already split it to a dedicated channel for feedback on community products and projects, and channel feedback for protocol and labs products. That doesn't describe what you're asking for, though, right? Angela. that is-
Starburst has an integration for GitHub issues, and you can make rewards for it. It's in the link in the thing. Just for the record,
It's in the link in the thing. I
me
will
see.
have a look at it.
I researched. I did
yeah.
things.
Thanks, Cal.
Does this describe though what you're asking for? Is it something different, Angela? Just in a generic sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't say channel. I would just say mechanism, because it might not be a channel.
Perfect.
I mean, it can be.
No,
with-
this is great because I was using channel as a generic word, but I think mechanism is better, so it doesn't get misconstrued.
Just a question. Could there be like a bot that from Discord recovers those feedbacks, and then someone just from all those says, okay, this goes to labs, this don't, something like that?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure that we have.
Those
we-
exist.
I'm sure that we can
Alex
do all of
really
these things.
wants us to move on from this. He's like
I love you all.
his eyes look very desperate right now. So
Yeah.
let's move on.
I love you
for
all
now.
very much.
It's a wrap.
Okay, so
We're good. We're good.
the last one, just to address then, is the engage community using platforms like Tally or Typeform for survey and feedback collection. I don't really know about that. I feel like I can be left there.
I mean, I would
honestly,
put that under high impact, low effort. It's really not that hard, dude.
yeah, agreed. Because we're actually working on exactly that with Crypto Witch right now.
I
for
would
the onboarding
say
and FAQs.
that surveys are high effort sometimes, depending on what they are.
Well done ones, Alex.
Yeah, but that's
Alex
fine.
and I keep going. Anytime it's well done, it really is high
Honestly,
effort.
it very
That's
much
fine.
depends. It
Over
very
there.
much depends on what you're trying to do, right?
Absolutely.
So if you have
I feel
something
like-
very specific, like one specific thing you're essentially inquiring with a few questions, it's high impact, low effort, right? If it's something like we worked on a social layer DAO survey with Alana, well, that one was fucking high effort, right? So because it's very complete and it's like it takes people at least 10 minutes to take it because we're turning this into a report for everyone. So it has to be complete to actually be meaningful. But I think for the most part, what we will be trying to do, investigating through these, like I think there was like, what does it say? It said something like feedback for products. Where did you put it, Alex? You remember where?
You're over the top of
Oh,
it, but
engage community using platforms like forms for survey and feedback collection. I think that's that's probably one specific thing that you're trying to inquire about, and if it works, you're not going to try and investigate about the whole world of decentralized access. This is not what we're trying to do, right? So it would be about one specific function or functions. I think it's high impact, low effort. I think it's okay there because it's not so complex. It's more compact.
okay, cool. So we have. I'm going to lock these then, if we're cool with that. Are we cool with them being locked?
Wait, what? And also, who said live stream podcast series is high impact and high effort? I actually want to say once you have, like, setting it up is high effort. Keep it running is not as much high effort, actually. Yes, Angela. Yes.
I have a suggestion about that one and attending in-person events and doing on-site recording. Both of those items are high effort to set up, low effort to maintain. So maybe they should just be split out into two separate, because what I discovered is after Chris and I created sort of like the kit that we use every time to go to live events. And it just got easier and easier. And so we'd come to live events, and then we had a booth that was easy pop-up, and we knew what we were taking. We had all of the signs with the QR codes printed and ready to go. Once we got to that point, after we did a couple of events together, then it was easy peasy going to another event.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. It's more of this initial setup that takes a lot of effort and drives you a little bit nuts.
Yeah.
Once you start to figure stuff out, it goes much easier, right? So yeah,
All right, they're connected.
thank you.
Any other feedback changes, etc.? Okay, I'm gonna group them and lock them. So we have 8 minutes till the hour. Do we want to do this with the short-term stuff, or do we want to revisit the conversation that was, I can't remember. Angela, I believe you and Stella are having a conversation about something, or you wanted to bring something up, and I asked to pin it for later.
I think that was something around. Was it about the legal app or something in that department?
Oh, it was. It was around the legal wrappers and all that stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think we
Angela.
can take the next
You
7 minutes
wanted
or so.
to
do that.
clarify something about that. The legal entity
Oh.
setup.
Yes, let me clarify something about the issue with using the foundation. Is the way that those foundations are usually set up, and I know because like I talked this through now with like for several different things, like with attorneys, is that it's still a corporate entity. It's just in another country. And the problem with that is centralized control. Like they have to have board members and signers, and there's only a handful of those. And that makes me so uncomfortable. Like I do not want the DAO treasury in control by like a handful of people. I don't like that idea at all.
But that would still not be the idea, because the treasury would still be a time lock, isn't it? I mean, honestly, we have to wait for the proposal. I don't know the details of the proposal, right? No one is being let in on that right now. So,
I mean,
what do you think?
I guess.
Because it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be. It depends really on how the proposal.
The governor contract, but use the legal wrapper of the foundation for other things like payroll and stuff.
I mean, even the payroll stuff, like it would only be for the bookkeeping itself, right? The payroll would still be decided the way we're doing it now, which is essentially paying out through the time lock. I don't think that would change. I also don't believe that's necessarily Julian's intention, because he does want to decentralize the protocol. I don't have the feeling he wants to stay in the way of that.
No, that wasn't the intention. The intention was to get around being able to do certain things that you can't do as a U.S. corporation.
Yeah.
The problem is then too, like you have the issue of trust and other people being like, you know, having some sort of US based entity creates a certain level of trust because of regulation. Do you see what I'm saying? Or European even would probably have the same level of trust. I would say even more, because they have higher levels of regulation in Europe usually than we even do here in the US. But in terms of providing other protections too, I'd have to think about that some more, because I think that there's going to be some other issues there, and it has to do with if you're hired by outside the US, if you're a US citizen and you're hired outside by an outside let's say a foundation in the Cayman Islands, you're still legally responsible as an individual for the actions that you take in the US. And this is the issue. Like, having a legal wrapper protects those of us who live in the US against the US government's interpretation of how we're acting. And
But
yeah, that's still a problem for us in the US, like a significant problem. Like it becomes participating in the DAO as a high risk thing as opposed to a lower risk thing. And if you want to attract talent, it's a significant issue because the talent is going to be much more risk averse in general. I mean, it's just like the issue that startups have with trying to attract talent away from the Googles and the Microsofts of the world, right? Like risk aversion. So like, and we're like another level beyond that at this point, right? So it's trying to like mitigate that portion of it, which is like, yeah, the rest of us over here don't want to go to jail over decisions we make.
I mean,
So yeah.
I was thinking the following thing. So I'm curious what they will propose, but I don't think we should just be like, oh, that's what they propose, let's just do it, right? That's also not my approach, because they have their own interest, and that own interest might not be the same as our collective interest. So
Agreed.
what I was thinking is, because Young's built this contact with Laura Cole, and I would like her, with your, obviously with, you know, everyone's permission, I would like her to review this entire setup from our perspective. So her colleagues
once we know. Yeah.
Right.
I see the benefit of waiting on it for that purpose, that we can take action with what they had in mind and during the vote period on whatever proposal they make.
I mean, worst case, you know, we vote against it so we can have time to actually review it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because it will have a fundamental impact on everyone in the DAO. So we should have time.
We can also ask them to make the voting period longer than normal.
For example, yeah, so we get time to review. Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we might want to go ahead and bring that up to them now. Like, when you guys get to this point, would you please ensure that the voting period is longer so that we have time to have it reviewed by, you know, counsel for the DAO?
Yeah, I will do that, because that's just very reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
And it will create trust, I think, generally speaking. So yeah, got you. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's not uncomplicated. I wish it was less complicated, but it's not uncomplicated, unfortunately. It's just
who doesn't? Right?
So
Alex, yes. Back to
this is something that we didn't get to, but it's related to the relationship between us and the Token Foundation, us and Labs, which is a piece that we haven't even gotten to talk about yet. We have intake information from what you guys feel about the structure and governance and the cycle of the DAO, as well as the relationship with Labs, but we didn't, because this wasn't a thing yet when I wrote the survey. It might be worthwhile just putting down your thoughts here, and maybe like that would be a focus next time we meet.
I have to say, I have to run exactly now because my next meeting starts.
Is now.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.